Callum, do you remember the podcast maybe a year ago or something like that?
No, I forget every podcast the second we stop recording.
Fair. We came up with a genre, or we named a genre, all that time ago. That when I was talking about the games I liked at the time, and you were like, "Oh, they're just all conveyor belt games."
Yeah, it's all these games where you feed things into other things to make things, whether that be like in a programming basis or on a physical basis.
Yep.
It's all just fucking conveyor belts leading into machines, leading into more conveyor belts.
So it's now April 2019, and we have a literal conveyor belt game to actually talk about that I've lost basically a weekend to.
Can I just like mute myself and let you talk about this for 20
Nope,
minutes?
I'm forcing you to do this because
Oh,
I don't know why. Call this payment for the Dota conversations we had back when we started. So yeah, this is Satisfactory. I'm going to start a new game just to show you the intro, and then I'm going to show you my factory. So this is
it's my factory.
Yeah, this is my factory. This is a. I'm trying to think of what games are similar to this. This is
Any of them. Name one of them.
it's a survival game mixed with factory simulation, mixed with a bunch of other stuff in there as well. It's early access. Should probably say it's early access. It is £25 pounds, I think, on early access in the Epic Games Store, which it's exclusive to at the minute. If you could very quickly check that price just before we continue.
I would, but I don't have the Epic launcher on my computer.
Ah, okay. So this is the intro. When we get in here, I'm going to have to turn the graphics down because it's a little bit framey, but I will fix that when we get there. So yeah, we're going straight from the start here.
Oh, fix it!
Fix it. Yeah.
Pioneers have 3 cyclical assigned pillars of work to ultimately accomplish project assembly.
So Project Assembly is like the Fix-It Corporation's grand scheme. They're not entirely sure what it is, but your whole mission is that you need to go into this planet and get resources to contribute to Project Assembly, whatever that appears to be.
So you have to build stuff to
Extract resources to build things to then contribute to the project.
Better resources,
basically. Yeah. I'm getting a real Project Oxygen Not Included vibe from some of this cartoon work that they've got going on here. Maybe a bit of Fallout stuff in there.
I can see this. Yeah, it's that sort of like nostalgia style animation that has all the government information behind it.
Totally, yeah, like very much like a government mandated watch this video thing. Okay, maybe it was an intro because the frame rate appears to have picked up now.
Usually about how the Russians are coming.
Yes, usually. So we're about to find out if the world's procedurally generated. I think it is, but we're about to find out if that's true. And yeah, that's your whole mission, and you do that by digging stuff out the ground, building factories to build stuff, automating those factories so that you have to do less of it, and then there's a whole bunch of other shit that I will show when I actually get to my factory later on.
Oh, right, you're actually going to show off your...
I'm going to show my...
How many hours factory is this?
15, maybe.
15
like, this was a chunk of my weekend. And I lost a lot of time to this over the weekend. This looks procedural to me. This looks different than the world I'm in at the minute. So we'll find out. I also kind of want to show this because the tutorialization is actually pretty good. It's for an early access game, it's very polished.
Sure.
All of the stuff that you would expect to be there is there, and it is a little bit framey.
So is that a scanner? What is
that? Is your general construction tool?
I see.
And deconstruction tool as well. Here we go. That's a little bit better. Yeah, this will be fine. Anyway, also that thing. This is very much procedure generated. This looks nothing like the world. Well, it looks like it, but in terms of layout, very, very different.
Task to support pioneers, such as you, in the
so
mission.
let's get started.
You are the third of your sector to survive
I'm
planetfall.
gonna skip that bit a little bit.
Go build a drill. I assume that's the first thing.
Not quite.
Go punch a tree to make a pickaxe.
So the first thing we have to do is dismantle this drop pod. So pull out my thing and let's deconstruct. Bonk.
From now on referred to as
So we've now got the parts for the hub. I'm going to skip through some of this
Habitat
dialogue.
utility base. Okay.
objective. Please ensure you
Grab some
have
berries.
a fixed incorporated Xenozapper equipped before leaving the drop zone.
Oh yes, of course.
Note,
Here's my
Xenozapper.
Xenozapper.
It's a cattle prod.
It's a taser. Yeah, and you can
Okay.
just like fucking zap shit.
This consumable possesses minor
Why do you need that?
Because there are creatures like that fucking like that thing and
Are they-
that thing.
You're not gonna zap that thing,
No,
though.
not that thing, but there are ground creatures that I've met so far that will fuck you up.
Please familiarize
Oh,
yourself
okay.
Also,
with
this is one of my favorite parts of this game. So you see, press E to pick up leaves. So you use leaves to. I'm gonna skip this. Use leaves to kind of power stuff. Like you burn it initially, just as biomass that you burn for fuel. But like you press E to pick up leaves, you just fucking run out the leaves and just hammer E, and you just grab all these leaves, and it's real good. You just grab all this stuff, and it's awesome. Okay, so we need to scan for resource deposits. So if I press C, so I can only scan for iron right now. So let's scan for iron. Oh, there's one. So 259. So the compass at the top will show you. Hey,
Sure.
let's run over to the iron.
There's iron over that way.
There's iron over here. All the while grabbing leaves, because power, as it turns out, very important.
Initial scans reveal coloring properties in the flower petals. Further analysis
Let's
required.
grab all this stuff and let's find some iron.
What do you need leaves for?
So you burn them for power. So this fucker is why you need the cattle prod.
Yeah, he looks territorial.
Missed him. Come here.
Wow, he's fast.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, he's quick.
Yep.
Like how you punch him as well.
Yeah. If you just continue to hammer.
Is he dead?
Yep.
I thought it was a stun gun.
No. It's a Xenozapper.
Studying the remains of
Yeah, but that would. Oh god.
Yeah,
oh, that's fucked up.
That's a bit weird.
Oh.
I haven't seen that before. That's a bit strange.
Okay.
That's really funny. Anyway, yeah. So you need to take care of them. So here's your iron. Let me just make sure where the iron is. Yeah. So here's your.
So do you have to mine for it?
So initially, yes. So let's just get started. So here's some pure iron. Let's just fucking get some iron.
Right. Oh, you've got a chisel on the back of your. Okay.
No, this is a different tool.
Oh, this is the chisel. Okay.
Yep.
It's really helpful.
So now I've got enough iron where I now need to build the hub. So you probably want to build the hub on like a flat area because you're going to want to build.
Oh, there's another one.
Where? Oh, I can hear him. Where'd he go?
There he is.
There he is. Okay. Come here, you fucker.
Will likely result in non-optimal progress.
Come on. Oh, he can't get me. Okay, because he's down
You're on
there.
a plateau. Just shock him while he's there.
Yep. Oh, no, hold on. Nope. Oh, it doesn't want me to do it while I'm above him. There we go. Ah, there you go. That's better. Got that. Anyway, so let's build the hub.
It's a dramatic flop of that fucking...
Yeah. So this is a nice big flat area. This is pretty good. Let's build it here. So let's open the build menu, build the hub, and let's build it. If I remember which way around this goes, let's build it here. Ding. Here's the hub.
That's it. I thought it was like a building.
It is a building. This is the hub. Welcome to the hub.
Okay, it doesn't have like a roof or anything.
No, but what happens, so the kind of main flow of the game is, it kind of starts with the hub. So if I go into the hub terminal, you can see I've got these tiers.
Oh, okay.
So tier 0 has like these upgrades, and the first 5 are like, here's your initial hub upgrades to get you going. And then once you complete the hub, it opens up further tiers with more stuff in it, blah, blah, blah. So for the first hub upgrade, which gives us all this stuff, which is important, let's select this as a milestone. And it means the first thing we need is 10 iron rods to upgrade the hub. So
yes, you turn your iron into iron rods.
Yeah, so, you turn your iron into iron ingots.
Oh my god.
Which you can hold down and then...
I can see it happening already!
Yep, so you turn that into iron ingots, and then, so you hold this down and it's turning the iron that you've got into iron ingots. And then once you've got them, you can then go, okay, with it. And I like this. This is a really nice like quality of life thing where like based on the resources you have, you can build 25 iron rods. So, okay, let's do that and let's hold this down. And then you can build your iron rods. And then we can go back, put the iron rods in the hub, upgrade hub, ba-ding, hub gets bigger.
What's that thing you've just built though?
This is so it's expanded the hub and it's now added this biomass generator.
Ah, okay.
So I now have ways of getting power. Yeah. So the next step is complete hub upgrade 2. We'll also get a storage box which you can just put stuff, which is handy. So let's set the next milestone for 2. So I need 10 plates, 10 rods. Well, I've got 10 rods already, so I can just put them in. And 50 copper wire. So I need copper. So I can now scan for copper. And copper is over here.
Ah, it's the same game.
It's the
same.
So while I'm getting this, things that I like about this in comparison to other games of the type, their focus on the things they've decided to focus on are the things I really appreciate. Where is this the copper? No, copper's up there. So things like your mines. So the thing I was hitting earlier to get iron and the copper, which is theoretically up here somewhere. Over here. They never run out. So once you have iron in a place, is this up here? Is that what you're telling me? No, it's over here. There we go. So these will never run out. Come on. Oh shit. Come here, you fucker.
That's pretty funny that you get hit and it says damage to fix it property.
Yeah, the corporate overlord shtick is pretty good in this, to be honest. So like I was saying, this stuff never runs out. So you can put a mine on here and it'll generate stuff forever. So I appreciate that they've done that because then the focus is on, hey, the fun of this thing is automation. The thing of this is not like, oh, my resources have run out, I need to find more resources. Like, it's literally just like, we know why you're here, so let's leave that bit. That bit we're sorted for you. The fun is in the other stuff. So I appreciate that. The tools for actually building the factory and building chunks of the factory are pretty good. I'll show you when I get to my actual factory, but like the placement stuff is pretty intuitive. They give you a little bit of help at least to kind of lay stuff out in a grid, which is quite nice, especially if you're organizing properly, which is kind of important for space concerns, which is handy.
Space concerns as in like space, not space as in high up space.
Physical space, no.
Physical space, not as in we're going to the moon.
No. Although there's a space elevator.
I was gonna say I saw a space elevator written down somewhere.
There's a space elevator, which I will show you when I get there.
What does it do?
I'll show you when I get there.
Okay.
I just didn't have enough iron. Let me just ping for iron again because it was right about here somewhere.
It's right next to your base.
So. Aha! I knew it was close. I just need a little bit more iron. So I can do this. Let's grab this. And the feeling as well of like, yes, I built this by just hammering out iron by hand, and now like.
Surely you get automated drawings at some point.
But like, especially seeing this again initially, where you're like, oh right, yeah, like this is such a, I haven't done this in a while. Let's just finish off getting these plates. Build the plates.
Is there really not just a fucking craft this many button? That seems...
Because they want you to really get into the automation stuff. So let's upgrade the hub one more time. And now it's a building.
Oh, you got a roof.
And I've got a room in here.
And you've got a room.
So the first 5 hub upgrades here are basically like building up your hub. So things like in here, there's a... Well, I'll show you when I get to the final factory. So now I've unlocked the conveyor belts. So let me just very quickly show you.
I said it as a joke. I didn't mean it.
Nope, 100% legitimate things.
Just conveyor belts.
Yep. So now I have smelters, which I would need to go get more copper for, which I don't think I have enough for, so I would have to go get copper. But anyway, so you kind of build stuff up like this. You gradually upgrade milestones to get better stuff. So you can see like the next upgrade gives me conveyor belts and ramps and walls and stuff like that. And then we go up to automated miners. And then we go up to the space elevator, which is up here as well. So let me just very quickly load in my Why is my save game not here? That's really annoying. Oh well, I created a save specific. Oh, because it names it by factory.
Okay.
Before we started recording here, this game took a patch, so this UI has changed. Just so you know.
Sure.
So let me just load up my. So this is not my current factory.
I was a bit laughed so much if that game had patched and you'd lost your save. It would have been really funny.
Yeah. Well, it had my autosave from when I was playing last night, but it didn't have the save I made specifically for this video. So let's see if this even loads. I don't know. This game's early access. Who actually knows?
I would hope that a patch doesn't break the game. That would be...
You would hope, especially with the level of polish this thing has so far. Like I would expect, they appear to have launched in a state where they're like, now the thing we need is like balance and content. So I'm confident that this is...
There we go.
Okay, so welcome to the space elevator.
Oh god.
It's a big fucking thing. And then also...
Oh my god, there's so many fucking conveyor belts.
Right?
Oh my god.
Okay, so... where do we even fucking start? So this is the fully upgraded hub. So once you get to the fully upgraded hub, you have your little building in here, and you have your MAM, which is basically your research thing. So you can put stuff you find in the researcher.
Molecular analysis machine.
Yeah. So you put stuff in there and it unlocks different blueprints and different things to scan for and all this kind of stuff. So this is for analysing bits of the world that you find. But the actual factory is why we're here. So here's your automated miner. So this is the same iron stuff that I was digging out manually before. It's now automated, except it's off right now because I don't need it. But let's go switch it on. Here's your biomass generator. So this is the same thing that's on the back
hub.
Of the hub there. I've just built one myself.
So it's an engine, basically.
It's an engine. Let me just put in some fuel and switch this on. So he's now on. He's now powering this thing. And then your miner should be, that's it, warming up. And then it'll start producing. Come on. Oh, conveyor belt. There we go.
God, you must just shit yourself with excitement when you see
yeah. So
God, you're such a sad dude.
So here's the iron coming in. So my iron all goes up here, up to this little thing here.
Of course, it's your iron. Of course.
Yeah. So storage containers are just like you can feed stuff in and pull stuff out. They're kind of
all-purpose bins,
basically, and they're used for like buffering. So the reason why my miner was off was because I was producing so much ore that my machines were not using. So I just switched it off because I didn't want to just consume power.
Are ore veins infinite?
Yes. So that's what I was saying earlier. Like these veins will never run out, because that would be a pain in the arse. So they focus, like I say, they're focusing on the right things. Here's my biomass burner. So this is powering these machines here.
Are they pylons carrying energy things?
So power as well, power management is important. So you can see if I get my power tool and hover over this thing, each power line can take 4 cables. So that's the 4 of 4 above it.
Yeah.
So you do have to do some power line management to be like, okay, if I want to power 6 things, then it's 2 lines that are hooked together and all this kind of stuff. And if you actually look at the biomass burner, it gives you like a proper graph of like, here's what's being consumed, here's the capacity. If it breaks this line, the capacity line, it triggers a circuit breaker and shuts the whole thing down and you have to go and manually switch it back on again. So there's stuff like that. So here's my...
So I really want to be flicking the fuse box back on in video games.
Yeah, and you have to, like, it's not like a button, like you have to manually grab it and drag it down. It's...
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
of course you do. Okay.
So all my ore from down here goes into my storage container. It then gets ferried off into these 3 smelters.
Is that a box that it differentiates between materials?
No, this is just a splitter. So stuff goes in here and splits evenly 3 ways.
And it splits into 3.
Yep.
Okay.
So each one of those goes into these smelters. The smelters then spit out the iron ingots, which was the thing I was making by hand.
So why do you need 3 separate burners to do that?
Because I'm getting enough ore in here where these things...
your input is too vast.
Yeah,
that you
so you can see that this machine's working with 63% efficiency. So...
Oh god, it gives you a number.
Yep. So these 3 smelters then produce these iron, which then get merged back into a single conveyor belt and put into this storage container, which as you can see is doing pretty well. Then the iron ingots come out here and go into another splitter, and then they go into these machines here, which are your constructors, which basically turn one thing into another thing. So here, this one's making the iron plates I was making before. This one's making iron rods. There's 4 machines here. 2 making rods, 2 making plates, because they're like the core resource for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's why in the tutorial it said like build your hub next to an iron deposit because you're going to need it.
Yeah.
All these machines are then spitting out into a merger, into another merger, and then spitting back out into this conveyor belt, which is then going all the way back here. And I can take
to
this
another
down
box.
To another box, and then the box goes all the way down here.
Seems like you're backed up a bit there.
Yeah, so this is why I switched the ore thing off, is because...
Okay.
So the other thing as well, so it goes all the way down here into this storage container, which is currently full, which is why nothing's going into it.
Yep, yep.
There's also a machine over here which is doing something very similar, but for
Copper
wiring. So there's copper, which is the copper's in a mine, which is on the other side of that hill, which is being fed round through a giant conveyor belt here.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Which feeds into the smelter, which then splits up the iron ingots and then builds a shit ton of wire.
Because what are the bags? What are these bags?
So the bags are concrete.
Concrete.
They come from that limestone factory up here.
Sure. Okay.
Which I actually need to go back up to. This is not health and safety. I'm just running along the conveyor belt for this stuff.
Oh, it would be. I'd be fucking fascinated if one of these games made you adhere to health and safety regulations.
If any game was going to do it, this would do it.
Hysterical.
Yep. So this is our constructor that's taking the limestone straight out, turning it into concrete, and then just spin it back. You can also build.
Actually, imagine doing that. Imagine making one of these games. It was all conveyor belts and stuff like that, but you had to do it like on a production line, and there were like health and safety rules you had to follow.
Yep.
And like guidelines, and like inspectors come by and stuff.
Yep.
But like, you set it up like a theme factory, but it is like totally serious.
Yep. And then they come back and start fining you for stuff.
Yeah, you get fined. You get like people leaving because you're not like unionizing your workers and stuff like that. Like
that's another level of thing. So this is an assembler. This is a slightly more complicated constructor, which takes two things in and builds something that needs two items.
Sure. A reinforced iron plate is an iron plate with rivets in it.
Yes, basically. That's so. At the stage I'm at now, this is like one of the core required things. So
the machines all look really cool. I'll give them that. They have like really cool moving parts.
Once you can see it working, like the stuff that's happening here is real cool. So one of the things that you can definitely see it's early access. This process here for the assembler and stuff seemed really slow considering how many of these plates I need.
Yeah.
And especially because like this thing needs such a constant supply of screws, as well as and there's obviously stuff missing so far where like so this machine takes screws and it takes iron plates and makes reinforced plates. In my storage container here has iron plates and iron rods. If I just put a conveyor belt out here into the other input in here, it will just spit out everything in the storage container, including the rods.
Ah, okay, sure.
So there is a filter, but like much further on in the tech tree than where I am right now. Sure. So I have to load this up manually so far, and it's kind of that feels like that should come earlier if they actually want us to do this thing the way I assume they want us to do this thing. So early access for this kind of game is usually, like, you start a lot with oxygen not included, which we've done a video on before, which is like that game fundamentally has not changed. The thing that's changed is like we've added some new stuff in between for stuff that was different, or they've like moved stuff down the tech tree or up the tech tree as people have been using it.
Sure.
Kind of
Yeah.
So
is that a buggy that you've got on your?
So also, this is my tractor, and I love him. So
it's a tractor.
This is a
what the fuck is that? Is that a jet engine? What the fuck is that?
This is a coal plant. So this is how I'm now generating energy. As you can see, if I use it, like, it needs a bunch of coal.
It's not good for the environment.
Nope. And then
fuck that.
So if I get my tractor, so this is my coal plant. This thing here is a truck station. Let's go get some more coal. Let's drive off.
See while I'm just doing this, I'm thinking about other things while you're talking about this game. Imagine this, right? I just designed this video game. It's one of these games, but in an Eve Dust 514 style setting.
Right.
There's another game that is like Satisfactory management.
Oh, sure.
And like you're the people that like are the management of this.
Yep.
So like you're the one that has to manage like health and safety and like workers being happy and like
totally
all that other stuff, but it's a totally different game, and you have to communicate to the people playing Satisfactory about all the new rules and health and safety regulations and stuff, and it has to impact what they do.
And you can dock people's pay, and you could
imagine that. Yep. How fucking insane would that be? And also kind of amazing.
So the other thing that will tie into this actually is this game is fully multiplayer.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. So there is.
That would make that kind of interesting.
I think this is like 4-person. I think is the limit so far. But like all of this is multiplayer.
I think I would go insane.
Yep.
I refuse to play fucking Stardew Valley with my girlfriend because I know I'll scream at her.
I was about to say, like, I remember having the conversation. You saying like, "Oh, that'll be cool that you can play with her," and then you were like, "No, because she does it wrong." I think was your was your statement.
It's just not efficient. Like
that's what I mean. Like
yeah.
So the other thing about the tractors to show the level of detail they're going in for this. If I go here and just clear this, so what I can do from my tractor here is I can say start recording, and then I can drive up to my coal plant, which I've started building over here. And I can draw over here, and you can see as I'm driving, it's dropping these little things behind me, these little blue nodes.
Yeah. Is that showing you where you've been?
So that's showing you where you've been. And
that's smart. If you like
up.
find something and then drive back.
Well, no, that's not for that. So this is for let's say I go up here, and then my truck stop loads up the next.
That drops you nowhere near your.
And then if I do stop recording, where are we?
It's a recording thing.
Yes. So now I can switch on autopilot. Get off the tractor,
just do this.
and theoretically it will try and do that. I've not found great success with it because it seems to do that a lot. So it seems like you need an actual loop. Like it's not like it just reverses what you've done.
Like a big. So why don't you record it to then do a loop so that it's pointing forwards when you?
So
put
the other
thing
thing,
in it?
so the way it appears to work is that it just follows these nodes. It doesn't actually record your button presses. So what this is trying to do is this is trying to get back to this node rather than just reversing. So it keeps hitting this wall and gets stuck here. I almost lost my tractor because I drove it here, got off, forgot autopilot was still on. It tried to get over here by driving off this fucking cliff. So
great.
So I almost lost my tractor, which was interesting. So let me just get in this and do that. Oh, switch off. Nope.
That's a neat idea.
Yep.
I like that idea.
Clear path, disable autopilot. So actually, I should probably drive it back because it's quicker than walking. So I've now got like this coal setup thing. So it's now farming coal.
Sorry, what is that thing? What is that thing actually getting you? Like, what's the crane putting in your?
Just whatever's in that truck stop. So you can feed. You can feed whatever you want via conveyor belt into the back of that truck stop, and then whenever you pull up, it puts it in the tractor. And then when I pull up to this other truck stop, which I've built here, it knows, hey, pull out whatever's in my inventory, like that, and then it goes into the truck station and it's got all this.
Got you. Okay, sure.
So
what's the sky elevator?
So the sky elevator.
Space elevator.
So if I just quickly go back to space elevator. So the space elevator is how you contribute stuff to project assembly. So this is the corporate stuff. Okay. So you can see if I also there's full damage. Oh, that's fine. So you can see if I go into my hub. You can see that I'm much further along with the milestones. So I've now unlocked a lot more tiers. I've got a bunch of stuff in here. There's still tiers I'm doing here, but the main progression for here, because some of those tiers are now locked behind the space elevator. And the space elevator now wants... where are we? 500 of these modular frames and 150 of these motors. And just for reference, if I just quickly go back here... each of the modular frames needs 29 of those, 3 of those reinforced plates and 6 of those rods per unit. The motors I haven't even researched yet, but they need this rotor, which needs all this stuff, which is like, so you get to the point where you're like, okay, I need to actually, in order to be able to get this and not lose my mind, I actually need to start automating this stuff, which is why I have a machine, which is why I have a machine that just builds screws, because I was sick of building screws. And you can see, like in the top right there, my current milestone for here needed 2,500 wire. Like this ramps up pretty quickly. That's a
lot of wire.
But like as you can see, like with just me hooking this up and leaving it, like I have quite a lot of wire and a lot of concrete as it turns out. So there's that. That's kind of it. That's kind of the extent of what I've seen so far. I can climb up here. Everything has ladders on it, which is kind of good, so you can actually get up high. There's a lookout tower here, which is really useful actually when you want like a top-down view of your factories if you want to lay stuff out.
Does that let you go top-down?
Well, it doesn't let you go like fully top-down, it just gives you a better view. Like a top-down view would be a good
higher
thing.
Up.
Yeah. So like for instance, let's say I wanted to build in our constructor. Where are they? constructors are constructor. So let's say I want to build our constructor. If I hold down Control, you see that blue line that appears from the constructor, the one to the left of it. There's a little kind of light blue line to the left. That basically lets you kind of line stuff up in a grid. So I can now just build my constructor here, and then I can be like, okay, oh, actually, no, I did that wrong.
You put the input on the wrong side.
Put the input on the wrong side. So the other thing I quite like, again, like reinforcing the bits about this that's fun. If you deconstruct something, you get everything you put into it back. There's no like loss of resources for doing something wrong, which means that you're more likely to experiment, basically. So let me just spin this round, put it in there, build my constructor, and then theoretically I could take a conveyor belt and build the conveyor belt over to here. I can build, one of the last things I built was a conveyor, no, what was it called? Logistics. Conveyor pole stackable. So I can now build like one of these and then put...
So you can have two conveyor belts going into the same place?
Or one that goes tall at the top. So I can I can theoretically take this thing and then, yeah, I can put it on any one of these levels and have them running like underneath each other and doing this kind of stuff. And then the next thing I want to do when I have some more time to put into this is there's a whole section of the tech tree which is just, if I get some space, which is just walls. So you can start... So if I put a
why do you need? Are there things that are like gonna come and fuck your shit up? Like, is it?
No, but what you
why do you need walls?
So if I build this foundation, so these things, foundations and stuff like are much more grid-like, so they just snap next to each other.
Yeah.
And then I can build walls here, which have a door on them, like that. But there's also walls that have. Oh, maybe I haven't unlocked it yet, actually. But there are walls with like conveyor belt spots in them, so you basically just build like factories on top of so basically it lets you stack things vertically as opposed to horizontally. So I could build multiple levels of so if I attach like my walkways, which again will snap properly here, so I can now build like my next level of factory up here and then build another floor up here and have all this stuff here and have all the conveyor belts going in and out and all this kind of stuff. So you could theoretically build upwards as opposed to space-wise, which I didn't mention at the start, but when you hit new game, there was a selection of 3 different biomes you can go into. So like this is the default biome. There's one that is more resources but less like flat space. So they encourage you there to be like, no, you're going to need to build up the way as opposed to along the way. So like these... Like that setup I have up here with my iron, that's a lot of physical space, right?
Yeah.
So theoretically, I'd want to wrap all that up in an actual building so that like, oh yeah, you just feed stuff in the bottom of the building and shit comes out the other side of the building, but inside it's like stacked smelters.
Yeah,
and
it can
stuff
go.
Like that.
Yeah, it's all about efficiency in space. Or whatever you want.
So like even for the where's organization, so you can stack storage containers and stuff. So like they just by default stack. Without needing walls and things like that. So yeah, there's a lot here already, and like so I put 15 hours into this and I still have a bunch more tech to research in there. Yeah, it's for sure one of these games you'll have looked at this like 5 minutes in and gone, yes, for sure this is something I want to play, or I never want to see anything like this ever again. But it is one of the best iterations of one of these games I've seen in a while.
Sure.
And especially at this early access stage, like they've nailed the core of it. They just need to balance the thing and make it a smoother, maybe smooth the transition between. Do
you have any idea what
stages.
the end game is here? Like what happens?
So no, I mean like the current extent of what I can see here is, so the milestones go right up to this space elevator phase 3. Which unlocks a whole bunch of stuff. That's, as far as I can tell, that's the furthest point you can get to. I have no idea what's there. Like, absolutely no idea. I very quickly looked at a wiki, very briefly, to answer a question, and I saw some wild shit in that wiki that sounds like it could come up. So, yeah. So this is Satisfactory. It's on the Epic Store. It's early access. I think it's 25 or 30. But there is for sure a lot here already for that money. Like, it seems like a lot for an early access game, but like I said, I've put 15 hours into this already, and I'm like barely a third of the way through it. So
yeah,
we'll see. Yeah, thanks very much, Cal.
Thanks, Euan.